Hello everyone, welcome to the Storyist. They say true friendship can withstand the test of time, or basically the test of anything for that matter. If someone is your real friend, nothing else will matter to you. The appearance, the wealth, just nothing but pure connection and companionship. But for some people, this is not the case. They get too blinded by the idea that friendship provides benefits. But in reality, friendship should be unconditional. Friendship should mean you can call him or her in the middle of the night and be sure to have a shoulder to cry on. Friendship should mean that you can be vulnerable and still, they will love you despite that. Friendship should mean that you can be true to yourself and show all your flaws and imperfections, and still wake up in the morning having the same set of friends by your side. Friendship should be genuine. That is the lesson this billionaire's daughter in today's story has recently found out. So, in order to find real friends, she dresses up as a poor girl. Stay until the end of the video to see if the billionaire's daughter can find real friendship as a poor girl. Elizabeth Roberts is a socialite. She lives off her father's endless fortune, and she was born being fed on golden spoons. She lives inside a fancy mansion that most of her classmates call the White Castle. Her father owns a long list of luxurious restaurants, and he even has a car business. He is wealthy, and Elizabeth knows that since she was born. She bathes in milk and honey every morning. She washes her face only with the softest linen, and she has every single thing lined up for her. Her shoes, her dress, even her school uniform will all be properly lined inside her walk-in closet, while maids prepare her hair for school. She literally never does anything that can make her exert an inch of effort. She has everything done for her. And for 25 years, that has been Elizabeth's life. Now that she is 25, she holds a position in one of her father's many companies. But she really doesn't have to, because she can live until her 80s without having to work another day in her life. She just chooses to. She also has no interest in business, or in any of her father's businesses, because she believes that it is her three brothers' jobs to take over the family heirloom of businesses. She, as she believes, is just meant to bask under her family's wealth. She grew up distant with her family, but no one can really blame her because everyone in her family is always working. Her mother is never home, and so is her father. They are all busy nurturing the business, when clearly, it is their family that needs nurturing more. So growing up, Elizabeth's company has been her friend, Martha. She met Martha when she was just 2 years old, which means they have been friends for 23 long years now. Elizabeth had grown up with this friend in a small town in Maine when she was still living there. Before they acquired a huge mansion in New York City, their family used to live in a small town in Maine, where they had started their family businesses that soon boomed and brought them to New York. Martha had been Elizabeth's best friend since she was young, so when they moved to the city, she brought Martha with her. Martha was an orphan back then, and so she loved moving in with Elizabeth. Despite being friends for a long time, it doesn't mean that they have become closer and inseparable over the years. While longevity in a relationship often speaks to its strength, in Elizabeth and Martha's case, it was quite the opposite. The older they got, the more the relationship turned toxic. Since Elizabeth's family has taken Martha in, Martha has started comparing herself to Elizabeth. She wanted the things that Elizabeth has too, but she is not really a part of their family, so she used to manipulate Elizabeth into giving her the same things. Elizabeth loved Martha so much, and she wanted nothing but her happiness. However, as they grew older, Elizabeth came to realize that maybe Martha wasn't feeling the same thing. As she looked closer, she figured out that Martha did not want to part ways with her because she needed her to survive. She was latching onto Elizabeth's fame and money so she could be like other friends of Elizabeth. They say that as you grow up, you realize that when it comes to friends, quality is better than quantity. In her case, Elizabeth has learned this the hard way. Growing up, she had tons of friends other than Martha. She was so popular at school that everyone liked her, but turns out everyone only liked her because she was famous and rich. She starts thinking to herself, when all this popularity and wealth fades away, will my friends remain by my side? But neither herself can't find the answer to that, until one day she thinks of a solution. Elizabeth wants to find a true friend. A friend she can rely on not only through thick, but also through thin. Someone she can count on without having to tell her she gained weight or to point out that she has repeated her dress. She wants a friend who is genuinely concerned about her, regardless of her name. So she dresses up as a poor woman. She rummages through her closet for an old plain shirt and a pair of pajamas, rip them a little, and she walks along the park. It isn't long until a suspicious man finds her sitting on a bench. He approaches her, asking if she wants to earn extra money. Being oblivious about the realities of the world, she asks the man about the job, and the man tells her that he will recruit him as a prostitute. Afraid of what might happen to her, Elizabeth suddenly runs, but the man follows her. After a while, a figure bumps into the man following him and threatens him that he will call the police. The man runs away, and the figure who helped her approaches her. He turns out to be a man her same age. "Are you okay?" "It's fine, he's gone now," the man says with concern. Elizabeth sits on a bench nearby. He thanks the man and asks him about his name. "I'm Joe. I kind of live here in the park. I don't have a proper home, but I have a makeshift tent over there," he says while pointing to the edge of the public park. "Do you have a home?" Joe asks Elizabeth. She pretends like she is one of them. "No, I actually lost my home, and now I'm wandering around," she replies. Joe tells her that his makeshift home can be her home too. And by that, Elizabeth is surprised. "But what about you? Where will you sleep?" Elizabeth asks, worried. "I'm gonna be fine. There are a lot of trees out here," he replies. Elizabeth is so moved by his selfless act. She has never experienced anything like this with her friends, even with Martha. With Martha, she is always the one to compromise and to sacrifice. Martha only treats her as a friend because she can treat her to fancy dinners, or bring her to elite parties without paying for anything. But Joe has not tasted any of her wealth yet, and he has given up his home for her. She realizes it is a right move after all, to pretend to be poor to find real friends who will love her for nothing in return. Joe ushers Elizabeth to his makeshift home, and he makes his bed for her. "You can sleep there. I'll climb up this tree and hope it doesn't rain," he says in a half joke. "Why are you doing this for me? I haven't done anything good to you yet," Elizabeth asks Joe before he can climb up. "Because we're friends now, and friends sacrifice for each other, always," he replies, and climbs up. Elizabeth is so moved, and before she falls asleep, she figures out a way to thank Joe in the morning. The next morning, Joe wakes up in a fancy apartment. He is so confused, and when Elizabeth comes in, she tells him her story. Well, not all of it. She tells Joe that she just ran away from her family the other day. And now that she has come home, she wants to thank Joe for offering her a home even just for a night. And because of that, Elizabeth will give her a permanent one. Joe can't believe that he has a real home now. Elizabeth and Joe remain best friends. While Martha is so jealous of Joe, Joe proves to everybody that he is not there for Elizabeth's money. He promises to work in the mansion in exchange for the apartment. And he has been doing a good job since. That's all for today. We hope you enjoyed that video, and we'll see you on the next.